I was checked at 12:30. I was 2 to 3 centimeters, and I delivered him at 34 minutes later. He wasn't breathing, and we don't know why. They asked us on the way while they're running us down the hall if we would like full recess. And they tried for about 15 minutes, and the doctor came in and he said, we've been trying for 15 minutes. We haven't been successful. We can keep going, but I just want you to know there will be significant brain damage because the oxygen has been cut off for a while. And my husband and I in that moment just knew it was just time to let him go.
Welcome to The Rainbow Connection. This podcast was designed for mothers who are finding their way through life after loss. Whether you're grieving, trying to conceive again, newly pregnant, or holding hope in your heart for what's to come, this space is for you. Each week you'll hear real and tender stories of love, heartbreak, healing, and the babies who continue to shape us. I'm your host, Kristin Mundy, a mother, doula, and a woman who's walked this path too. May these conversations remind you that you are not alone, that your baby is never forgotten, and that hope and grief can live here together. Before we dive into today's episode, I want to tell you about Mother Like No Other, a special community for women who are navigating the tender season of life after loss. Inside Mother Like No Other, you'll find a warm, supportive space of moms who truly get it, plus practical tools to help you through the hard days. You'll have access to a private online community where you can connect with me, an experienced doula, and other moms navigating the same journey. Each month, we gather for live workshops to connect and learn, covering topics like supporting your fertility journey, grounding strategies, self-advocacy, and ways to nurture your mind, body, and soul. We also bring in guest speakers to share their expertise and inspiration. The best part? It's only $22 a month. No long-term commitment, just real support when you need it most. If you're ready to feel more grounded, connected, and held through this season, come join us at thedoulalife.ca/mother. You do not have to go through this journey alone. And by joining us inside Mother Like No Other, you won't have to. Today I'm sitting down with Shelby Corallo, a local mama from Ontario whose story carries so much hope, so much honesty, and so much courage. After 2 whole years of IVF, Shelby finally became pregnant, only to experience a sudden and devastating turn that led to the birth and loss of her son, Luke, at 22 weeks after a rapid and traumatic labor. She shares the sacred hours she and her husband spent holding their baby, the shock of leaving the hospital without him, and the grief that reshaped everything she thought motherhood would be. Shelby also invites us into what life after loss has looked like, learning to say Luke's name, finding comfort in signs like rainbows and cardinals, and navigating the frightening yet hopeful space of trying to conceive again. This conversation is very honest and very grounding, and a reminder that our babies never stop belonging to us, and that love does not end, even if everything changes. Okay, enough from me. Now let's hear from Shelby. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Rainbow Connection. Today, I am joined with Shelby. Hi, Shelby. Thank you so much
Hi.
for being here.
Thank you so much for having me.
Of course, I'm really looking forward to talking with Shelby today. We recently connected online, and she's just an amazing woman with an amazing story, and I'm really glad to have her here. But Shelby is going to be sharing her angel baby story with us today about her son. But before we do dive into her story, Shelby, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about yourself?
Sure. My name is Shelby, like Kristin said. My husband and I live in Peterborough, Ontario, so a little north of Toronto in the Durham region. We also live here with our dog Louie, our golden doodle, and our cat Luna. I work as a resource consultant in Durham region. We like to go to the cottage, spend time on the water. We like golfing. And recently, since our loss, I've really gotten into reading. So my Kindle and I are attached at the hip right now.
Everyone finds like new hobbies,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. It's diving into other people's stories
Mm.
that are just kind of fiction and fantasy and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Whatever gives you a little bit of break, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Actually, I had a previous guest on here how we were talking about how like reality TV is like the perfect thing for this like griefy period because you just get a total escape. And now I guess books are kind of the same thing, right?
Yeah. Reality TV is definitely something on my list as well.
Mm-hmm. All right, Shelby. Well, I would really love to hear about your little boy. So why don't you start wherever you feel comfortable?
Sure. I'll start from the very beginning, which is I'll start from when I found out I got pregnant. So my husband and I were trying to conceive for 2 years.
Mm.
We got married December 31st, 2022, and since then we had been trying. So we ended up working with a fertility clinic in Durham region who were phenomenal. And we had success on our third round of cycle monitoring, which was so great. So we didn't have to dive into the IUI or anything just yet. I found out I was pregnant like a week before Christmas. And it was just like such an exciting time. And we told our families at Christmas, because how can you pass up that opportunity? It was just, it was so much fun. And at my beginning of my pregnancy was pretty easy, I should say. Like I wasn't sick. I was just very tired, hungry, all those things. And we found out we were having a boy at around 15 weeks. And at about 16 weeks, we were actually getting ready to head out to see my best friend in Alberta. And I was having some pains in my abdomen. So I just took myself to my local hospital here. And there, if you're after a certain amount of weeks, you get sent right up to labor and delivery. So up I went, they did a quick check, they did a cervical check, they did the works, and they were like, it sounds like it's just round ligament pain, which I didn't know was a thing. It was my first pregnancy. So they sent me on my way, told me to take some Tylenol and that it should subside. So it did subside, which was great. Had my anatomy scan at 20 weeks. Everything was totally fine. And at about 21 weeks and like 4 or 5 days, I started getting this insane cramping on my right side. I also have fibroids. So I was thinking that's maybe what it was. But it was to the point where I was like in the fetal position, like I was in tears. And my husband was like, this is not okay. Like, this isn't normal. I don't think, like, let's just go get you checked out. So on the Friday night, I think that was April 25th, we went to our local labor and delivery. The doctor wasn't available. She was in an emergency C-section apparently. And I said, that's fine. I'll wait. I just want to make sure everything's okay. I had a very active baby pretty early on, and I didn't feel him much that day. So I thought maybe something could be going on. And they were like, oh, don't worry. At 21 weeks, it's not that common for it to be super consistent. And I was like, but my baby has been. So can you please just check him out? So they did the Doppler and his heart was fine. I asked for an ultrasound and they said they couldn't that evening for whichever reason. And they didn't do a cervical check. They didn't do anything. The doctor came in, was quite dismissive. And it was just like, it sounds like round ligament pain. Use a belly band, take some Tylenol, go home.
Well, especially because you came in for potential round ligament pain before, right?
Yeah, a few weeks before. They also checked my blood pressure, which is an important thing for later on. But so Friday night I went home. I didn't sleep at all. I was in so much pain. And Saturday I was okay. And then Sunday I was feeling a little bit better. And so I was like, okay, maybe it was round ligament. It is what it is. I could feel him moving again. It was fine. And then Monday morning, I woke up to get ready for work and I went to the washroom. And I don't know how in depth I can get into the details here, but when I went to the bathroom, I wiped and I saw what I interpreted as a potential mucus plug, which you shouldn't be seeing at 22 weeks now. So I called my mom because I feel like moms know best with that kind of stuff. And she was like, I'm coming and we're going back to the hospital. My husband was already at work. So I was like, okay. I'm like, it's probably fine. It's probably nothing. It's probably just all these things that happen when you're pregnant. I have no idea. And we get to our local labor and delivery, and I had the most phenomenal doctor and nurse looking after me. Like, I am so grateful for them to this day. And they did the workup. They checked everything. I got an ultrasound. I got a cervical check, urine, blood, all the things. They were checking everything off the list because they wanted to make sure that everything was going okay.
Mm-hmm.
They had mentioned, so my blood pressure was very high. And they had mentioned that, like, oh, we see that you were here on Friday. We're surprised they let you go because your blood pressure was quite high.
On Friday it was.
On the Friday. Yeah. But they didn't mention that to me. So I didn't think anything of it. And I was like, oh, great. Okay. So I go down, I get an ultrasound, I come back up, and the doctor comes in and sits on the bed. And that's when you know it's not great. Baby was fine. He was very active. On the notes, it says very active fetus. I saw him on the screen. Like, I knew he was okay, but my cervix was less than 1 centimeter long, which I now know is not good at that gestational time. So she explained to me that I was going to get a procedure called a cerclage, where they stitch my cervix closed to keep the baby in. However, they don't do that here in Peterborough, of course. So I would be moved to Mount Sinai in Toronto. And I looked at my mom and I was like, okay, can you take me there? And they're like, oh, no, honey, we'll get you there. We'll get you there via ambulance or helicopter, whatever's available. And I was like,
that's when you know it's like serious.
Yeah. So
right.
I guess your cervix, I'm sure you would know this, is supposed to be 3.5 centimeters long around there. Mine was 0.9. So it was barely hanging on. So my husband does, I don't know what kind of speed, up the 115 from work. And he gets there just as I'm being loaded into the ambulance. And we go up to Mount Sinai, where they did the whole workup again. The urine, the blood, the speculum, our buddy, the speculum test and all that kind of stuff. They take swabs, they check for infection. I had like 3 different ultrasounds. Like, they were just checking everything. They're incredible there, I should say, like, really incredible.
They are.
And they offered me the cerclage, but they shared all the risks involved with the cerclage, which we knew very well that my water could break. They also offered an amniocentesis, which I declined because of the fear of that risk, which I've heard about before. I hadn't really ever heard about a cerclage. So we agreed to the cerclage. We figured that was the best option for our baby. I was like, whatever's going to keep my baby alive and safe, even for a few more weeks, let's do it. And they were like, okay. So I was supposed to go the next morning for the cerclage, and then like 10 minutes later, some lady came to show up and give me an IV, and because they bumped me up on the board to get it done. So I go in for the cerclage, and while they were performing the cerclage, my water broke. So they stopped the procedure, of course. The OB who was looking after me popped her head around the curtain and kind of explained what had happened, and that she'll explain what next steps are when my husband and I are together in recovery. So we get into recovery, and I'm like shaking from the spinal, I guess, like the shakes that you get after. So I couldn't really comprehend everything she was telling me. Like, it was a lot of information. They said, we'll come back and tell you, or any questions you have. So basically they were explaining to us what could happen with premature delivery and what the risks are with that and how long it might take. And it was just like I almost feel like I was in shock. I just
information overload for sure.
Oh, yeah. And they were so great that they were like, we'll come back in a few minutes, and if you have any questions like that come up, just call us. We'll come. Because I had an MFM attached to me, was the specialist, and an OB.
At what point, like from when you found out that you're going to need a cerclage to this point, like how much time had passed?
Oh, so I found out, so we left Peterborough at like, I'm going to say 1:30, 2 o'clock p.m. And this was at like 9 p.m.
Okay. So
Yeah.
everything's happening very quickly.
Very, very quickly.
So of course that you're not retaining any information. Of course you would be in shock.
Yeah. Like I was
Mhm.
just eating breakfast this morning at my house, and now I'm in an OR at Mount Sinai in Toronto, an hour and a half away
Mhm.
from my house. And I don't know if my baby is okay. No one's told me
Mhm.
that he's fine. They're like, "Oh, yeah, like you're okay." I'm like, "Okay, but what's wrong? What's going on with my baby? Is he
Yeah.
okay?"
Yeah.
So they put me in like after recovery, they put me in like the antenatal floor, I guess, where you go after you have a baby, I think. And they said um, things could start happening for labor within the next 24 to 48 hours. So you're going to stay here. We'll monitor you. We'll kind of go from there. And I was like, okay, so I'm just going to like, so no matter what, I'm having my baby. And that's that. Um, then my mom ended up coming down. Think like I have like my mom is incredible. Like she's so incredible, and she found her way down to Toronto and brought us like an overnight bag and some food because we were starving. I hadn't eaten all day, um, and I ate. My husband was starting to fall asleep, and I was like, okay, I guess we're just gonna fall asleep and wake up in the morning and figure out what's going on.
Mhm.
And they said they would have peds come and talk to us about what a like a micro preemie situation might look like. They were going to come talk to us in the morning. This was about 11:30 at night now. And I only know that because I have a photo of my husband sleeping on the phone,
Mhm.
on my phone, and it said 11:32 or something. So then I start eating. I post up my Kardashians on my phone to watch in the
Mhm.
hospital to try and ease my mind. They checked baby's heartbeat. He was fine. He could hear the heartbeat. He was moving. Um, and I started getting some cramping. So I called the
Mhm.
nurse in, and she's like, yeah, you might have some cramping. And if you get up to the bathroom, like your waters might still come out. And I was like, okay. So because I was frozen, I didn't know they had put like the hospital glamorous
Diaper.
underwear, boxer shorts, or whatever they
Yeah.
put on. I had no idea. So then I like go to the bathroom. I'm like, oh, okay, hello. Get my husband to go get me some new stuff to just to feel comfortable. And my waters just kept coming
Gushing.
out, and I was like, oh my gosh. And they're like, it's normal, it's normal, it's normal, everything was normal. And I was like, but I don't know this, I don't know, I've never had a baby, I don't know what this is. And then I started feeling pressure in my bottom, like I had to go to the bathroom. And I called the nurse again. This poor lady was running back and forth, and she comes back, and I was like, I'm feeling like I have to go to the bathroom, like number two, and the waters are just coming out. She's like, okay, no problem, let's get you back into bed.
Now, did they give you any instructions? Like, we want you to take it easy, just like, okay.
No, not really. It was basically just like, we'll see you in the morning.
Mhm.
And I was like, okay. So then I kept having this incredible pain and pressure. And I told my husband I was like, don't call the nurse. I need you to go to the nursing station and get somebody
Mhm.
in here. And they actually called the OB and the MFM that was attached to me to come at around 12. This is around 12:30 now a.m. And she checked me, and I was like 2 to 3 centimeters dilated. And
Mhm.
then within, I'm going to say 5-10 minutes, I was what I now know the cramps were contractions. I was
Mhm.
having contractions, and he was coming, and I could feel him coming. Like I wasn't even pushing. He was just coming. And all of a sudden the room just turned. There was like 8 people in the room. They were telling, I had like people in my face like, you need to breathe, in through your nose, out through your mouth. And I'm like, I can't. I'm hanging on to the sides of the bed to like, because I'm in so much pain.
Mhm.
My husband's like, you can do this, because now my spinal had worn off, so I could feel everything. And then it turned into like what I always describe as like a Grey's Anatomy episode. They were running me down the hallway. The girl in front was beeping her pass and opening the door. My husband's running behind. Next thing you know, he's dressed in like a gown and a mask and a cap, and like we're being wheeled into like a labor and delivery OR. And this is where it always gets me. I delivered our son at 1:04 in the morning. So I was checked at 12:30. I was 2 to 3 centimeters, and I delivered him at 34 minutes later. And he wasn't breathing. And we don't know why, because he was fine like an hour or so before. And they asked us on the way, while they're running us down the hall, if we would like full recess. And we said, yes, of course. Because as far as we know, he's fine. And they tried for about 15 minutes. And the doctor came in and he said, we've been trying for 15 minutes. We haven't been successful. We can keep going, but I just want you to know there will be significant brain damage because the oxygen has been cut off for a while. And my husband and I in that moment just knew like it was just time to let him go. Hmm. And you're faced with such a hard decision in such a quick second. Would I have loved for them to keep trying to bring him back? Yeah. But I feel like having to watch what would happen after, I don't know if I was ready and able to handle that. So we decided just to let him go. He had already made his decision when he came out. He was already gone. And they asked if we wanted to see him. And I was like, are we allowed? And they're like, well, it's your baby. And I was like, okay, yeah, we would love to see him. So they brought him. They had a little hat on him and they brought him to us. And we got to keep him with us until we essentially left the hospital. But he because of the intensity and the speed of the delivery, they think that's what took his life, essentially. And he had bruising like all over his head, all down the side, like a little bit on his hand on the one side was bruised, and his foot, like it was really, we chose not to do an autopsy. Mm-hmm. We just wanted to leave him in peace. And we got to spend some time with him. We named him Luke. Mm-hmm. It was my husband and I's favorite name that we had. And his full name is Luke Robert John. Robert is after my stepdad who passed, and John is after my husband and his dad. So, yeah, that's our very insane story of his entry to this world.
It all happened so fast, it sounds like.
So fast. Mm-hmm. So, and then the next day you go home. Mm-hmm. And that was a whole other thing.
I wonder if like some of that bruising is because he was, engaged for a while, right?
Yeah. And that's what they said too. It could have been the way he was. And when they're saying, don't push, and you're trying to.
It's impossible to not push, right? It's funny when they say that, because you're like, I'm not doing this voluntarily, right?
Yeah, I'm not choosing to do this. Trust me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Why don't you, if you're comfortable talking about it, Shelby, what were those, moments, hours, that day that you spent in the hospital? What did that look like for you? Did you get to, spend time with Luke? Like everything, like we said, everything happened so fast.
Yeah.
What were you and your husband like, after?
I feel like the best way to describe us, if someone walked in our room, it would be seeing two deer in headlights. Mm-hmm. Like we were just in shock. So after I delivered him, they do the whole thing, check the placenta, deliver the placenta. They were swabbing everything to check for all the things. And the doctor kept talking to me, I think, because she knew we were in like a full state of shock, and she kept asking us questions. And I looked at my husband and I was like, why is she asking me this? And he goes, she's trying to keep you talking. Like, just, you're all right. We're okay. Just keep answering. My husband, who doesn't cry a lot, couldn't stop crying. Yeah, it was shock. So then they wheeled us to labor and delivery room in our own room. And we didn't call anyone right away. We didn't contact any of our family. We just took the night for the three of us. We took turns holding him. I have this like beautiful video of my husband like doing the dad walk, just rocking him, like walking around the room. I'm a big Taylor Swift fan. So I played a a song we played at our wedding because we got married on New Year's Eve. So I played New Year's Day, and I was just talking to him and telling him all the things about his family members and who would have loved to have met him. And we just spent the time, the three of us, and just took it all in. We looked at every inch of him. We took photos, which felt very weird because it's like, what do you do at this time? We took as many photos. We took a lot of photos, but it's always like, I wish I took more. I wish I don't have one of the three of us. I don't have, like I wanted just to capture every inch of him. But in that moment, you're just like, you're in shock. You don't really
here. They're totally not here.
So we started contacting our families early in the morning. Actually, my mom had called to check in. So she was the first person we told. And then we called my husband's parents. And then just continued from there, just like letting our family know mostly. But yeah, we stayed in the hospital. We left that day in the afternoon. And we spoke to, like, they offer so much in the hospital, like the services that they have. They offer a social worker to come and talk to you. The OB and the MFM came in and checked in on us and offered their condolences. And we had a spiritual counselor come in and bless his name. And these are all obviously optional, but we opted to do that. And we just held him and spent time with him. And my mom eventually came to come take us home. She got to hold him and see him, which was really special.
Okay.
And then they give you all the information about what comes after.
Sure.
To which they told us if a baby is born after 20 weeks, there's a legal obligation to bury or cremate, which we didn't know. So then we had to contact a funeral home, which we did a local one in where we used to live in Whitby. Yeah, it's just a whole list of things you didn't know you had to do.
And that you're obviously not prepared to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Like I didn't have on my bingo card sitting in the funeral home with to bury my baby. So we did opt to cremate him. So we did do that. And it was at the funeral home where we actually, it sounds terrible, but we've had a lot of loss in the last 1.5 to 2 years. But my grandparents are there. My best friend from when we were younger is at this funeral home, or this cemetery, I should say. So yeah, it was a special place. So we chose it for that reason. We knew he'd be protected.
Cremate and bury.
Yeah. So we haven't put him anywhere yet. He's here with us. He's home with us. But if we do, we know that we have family there as well.
It's like such a bizarre thing to conceptualize, but it's like the most impossible choice in the world, but it does make that impossible choice a little bit more comforting, as bizarre as it is, right?
Yeah. So that's been this just happened in April. So we're still kind of in it. Every day gets a little bit better, but.
What has life kind of looked like for you guys since?
Different than we anticipated this summer looking. I've been off work. The agency I work for has been totally incredible. I couldn't say enough good things about them. I will return to work soon. I'm looking forward to some routine and some normalcy. We've done a lot of crying. We've done a lot of remembering and talking about it, talking about Luke. That was a big transition, is going from saying, oh, the baby, and we had a baby, and the baby was born. It's like, no, Luke was born.
Your son.
Yeah, my son. Like, that was another hard thing too, saying like, oh, my son, I have a son, I'm a mom. That's been a really hard transition. Like, my husband, we were talking, I can't remember where we were. I think we were in the grocery store or something. And I said something about him being a dad. And he was like, I'm not a dad. He's like, not yet. And I was like, but you are. I'm like, you're Luke's dad. And he was like, oh. And like the look on his face was so heartbreaking.
Mhm.
That I literally bought him a shirt that was like, Saturdays are for the dads or whatever it is. And
Mhm.
just to like remind him that, hey, like we're parents. Like we did the damn thing and we have a baby and he's not here, but he's around. We feel him. So that was a tough transition for us. And like talking with all my girlfriends who have babies, it's hard to like contribute to the conversation
Of course, it's so
as
different.
well. Yeah, it's so different. But that was a hard transition for us, was admitting and recognizing that we are parents. We have a
Mhm.
son. He was here, um, but he's not here in the physical form, but maybe spiritually he's still here.
While we take a quick break, I wanted to introduce you to The Haven, my signature 12-week support program for mothers who are pregnant again after miscarriage, TFMR, stillbirth, or infant loss. This isn't just a course. It's a trauma-informed community program that includes weekly live workshops, expert guest speakers, and ongoing support from me, an experienced doula and fellow lost mom, anytime you need it. You'll also receive one-on-one check-ins, guided journaling prompts, full access to my birth course, Reclaim, and a warm, intimate community of other pal mothers, a place where you can be real, be held, and be reminded that you are not alone in this. Our winter cohort begins this January, and the waitlist is now open. You can find all the details at thedoulalife.ca/haven. In the Haven, your baby is remembered, your voice is honored, and you are fully supported every step of the way. And that you always will be as parents. It is such a hard transition and thing to kind of accept because no one envisions becoming a parent in this way, right?
Right.
Yeah, it's a whole new world.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
There's been a lot of ups and downs too since. I feel like men handle things a lot differently than women. Like
Totally.
my husband went to work the next day.
Mhm.
He just had to like focus on something, and then he's in a union, so they ended up going on strike a couple weeks after, which was a blessing in disguise for us because I got to have him home for a little bit.
That's the
Um,
universe, right?
that's the universe. Yeah.
Mhm.
So he was home with me for a week, and I had gone to brunch with my best friend, who I also can't say enough good things about. Um, she took me to brunch, and I came home, and my husband was like, "I'm very emotional today," and I was like, "How come?" And he was like, "Being home." He's like, "I
Mhm.
haven't been home. I've been at work."
Mhm.
And he was like, "I was home alone for a minute, and I get it. I get why you don't want to be at home right now." And I was like, "Yeah, it was a
Or just like
hard week."
staying still and being
Yeah.
quiet, you not having work to distract you, right? And being home with the constant reminders. There's so many things that continually bring you back
Yeah.
and remind you, right? And for men, I find a lot of the time that busyness really is a form of coping and distraction. And, I hear a lot from my clients that the moment that they get quiet and that distraction gets taken away from them, you know, like I said, the universe, it forces you to
Yep.
face this, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And
Mhm.
even for me too, like that week he was home, we didn't stop. We were like redecorating our bedroom, and
Mhm.
we were doing, I think that's how I described my way as coping too. I was like, I just want to change everything. Everything needs
Mhm.
to be different than it was before because I can't sit here in the same environment
Mhm.
right now.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question. Coping for him, it sounded like work, distraction, busyness. What did that look like for you? It sounds like, needing new energy in your home.
Yeah. Needing new energy for sure. My dog, who is barking in the background, if you can hear, hopefully you can't hear it, but I haven't really spent as much time with my dog because we work full time. And now that
Mhm.
I've had this like concrete time, I don't want to say he's been like a coping mechanism, but he's been almost like a therapy for me, and like
Sure.
getting me out of the house for walks.
Mhm.
And when I would cry, he would just automatically come right over to me and lay his head on my chest. He knows. I'm getting nervous to like go back to work and leave him at home. I'm like, "Can I just bring him to the office? Like, please?"
Mhm. Pets are so
um
healing.
pets are so healing. I work with a psychotherapist who is great. So yeah, those have kind of been, other than redecorating my entire home, have been a bit of the coping skills that I've been using.
Mhm.
My friends have been incredible. I'm going to cry again because I I can't thank them enough. Like, some people either run in the opposite direction because they don't know what to say or what to do. My best friend dove in with both her entire body. Like, the next day we got home from the hospital, I stayed at my mom's for a week, and she was like, "Let me know when you want me to come see you." And I was like, "Yeah, yeah, I'll let you know." If she had let her know, I wouldn't have seen her. And she took
Mhm.
the day off work the following day, and she showed up at my mom's house,
Mhm.
and she just sat with me. She's like, "We don't have to talk about it. We don't have to do anything. I'm just here." And I could never, like, thank her enough for that. Like, it was just an incredible, like, I had no words. I was speechless. My other best friend lives all the way in Alberta, who was also pregnant at the time. They just welcomed their baby boy, and I think she felt a little helpless, but she was
Mhm.
so incredible too. Like, the way she checked in and just how supportive she was. Like, I truly don't have enough good things to say about my friends. So I'm very grateful for them because I don't know where I'd be.
Sometimes it's not even like an act. Sometimes it's just like being in it with you, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to come sit beside you. We don't need to fix anything,
Yeah.
but I want you to know I'm here, whether that be physically showing up at your door and physically being there, or just knowing that that person truly is
Yeah.
one text away all the time.
Yeah.
And we don't even need to like talk about things, but I'm
Yeah.
just here to hold whatever it is that you need to kind of get rid of.
Yeah. It was incredible. And they're still
Mhm.
here, like, to this day. Like, they're still
Mhm.
so supportive. Like, I can't thank them enough. And my mom too. My mom was like, she jumped right back into, like, mom mode again, if that makes
Mhm.
sense. Like,
Mhm.
she was making dinner, doing our laundry. She was,
Mhm.
like, just all over it.
Well, you're
Um,
her baby, right?
right, yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what she said too. Um, Another way we've been coping too is we're really big on signs,
Okay.
looking out for the signs. What's the universe telling us? What's is Luke looking for us? Is he sharing things? So one thing, like, the few days after, we were sitting in our backyard, and we have never really seen a ton of birds around, and we had this beautiful bright red cardinal just
Mhm.
sitting on a tree staring at us for like half an hour.
Mhm.
So now every time we see a cardinal, my husband goes, "Oh, Luke's here. He's here."
Mhm.
And we'll run outside, or we hear it chirping, we'll run outside. He was actually just here just before we started this. So, and he was sitting on the tree. So the day we came home from the hospital, it was like a downpour of rain. We couldn't even see driving. It was horrible. And then as soon as we turned onto the street that we live off of, the sun came out, the rain stopped, and this incredible rainbow
Mhm.
just appeared out of nowhere. So we're really big on looking for those signs, and they kind of give us some comfort.
Yeah, I love
But
that.
yeah, yeah,
What does it look like for you guys to, honor what you've been through and honor Luke as a family right now? Obviously, signs is a huge way to do that
yeah.
because it really keeps your baby so interwoven in your life, a big presence in your life. But what other ways do you guys kind of keep him a part of, yeah, your day to day?
We currently we have his urn um, in our living room. My friends got us a photo, and it's of flowers of like forget me nots. So we have that beside it and a candle. We light a candle almost every evening for him when we're home. And I make sure to blow it out, of course, at night. And I just tell him sweet dreams. So I always try and keep that going. I feel like another way I'm honoring him is by going to therapy. And to me, that was very important. I feel like I'm honoring him and my future children by doing that and
You
taking care of
totally are.
myself. Yeah. That was really, really important. That was like the first thing I did was reach out to a therapist because I want to make sure that I'm mind, body, and soul here for not only Luke, but our future
Mhm.
children.
I always say it's like you're mothering your children by taking care of yourself because you really are their home. You'll always be their home.
Yeah.
So I love that.
Yeah. So that was super important to me. And then just little things like we've gotten more used to like using his name. Like I think that was really important. And I think that hit me the first therapy session I had after, and she was like, "What's your son's name?" And I was like, "Oh, his name was Luke." And she's like, "Okay, well, I'm going to refer to him as Luke if that's okay with you." I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And then that really hit me where I was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, like he has a name, he had a purpose, he like and honoring him by saying his name rather than the baby or your pregnancy." Like that
Mhm.
was really important to me when she said that. And then I had recently, I can't remember who it was, but I had a friend of mine, I think it was a friend from work, and she was like, "I hope you don't mind if I'm using his name when I talk about him." And I was like, "Oh my God, no, please, like please do. Like please
Mhm.
talk about him and keep talking about him because if we don't, I don't want him to be forgotten," which I will never let happen, but it's
There's
that
like a
fear.
quote that's like, hearing my baby's name, it may bring me like sadness because my baby isn't here physically, but hearing his name also brings music to my ears. And please don't ever stop saying their name. It's something
Yeah.
like that. I love like hearing my baby's name brings
Mhm.
music to my ears, and it's so true,
Yeah.
right?
And I remember seeing something I think, yeah, it was you that posted that even when like going to Starbucks and putting your baby's name on the
Mhm.
order just to hear it. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that. I need to do that.
Mhm. It's so
I need to
nice
do
because you're just
it.
like, and sometimes it kind of like takes your breath away because you're like, that's my
Yeah.
baby.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
wow, that's their name. Oh, I really, really love that. You're definitely going to have to do that because it's such an easy way. I think sometimes, you know, life gets busy and, we do talk about our babies, but it's so different when you
Mhm.
hear it from somebody else.
Yeah.
And it's whenever I'm having like one of those griefy days where I feel like I haven't heard my baby's name in a while, I always go to Starbucks and do that trick. So,
I
yeah,
love it. I have
it's really
a
nice.
old coworker of mine. Her son is Luke. And she
Mm.
actually messaged me last night. She goes, "Oh, Luke chose this book for bedtime." And it was a book that I had given her when she was pregnant with
Oh,
him. Or I think she had just had him already. And I said, "Happy reading, Luke. Love, Shelby." And she sent me a picture of it. And she was like, "He's here with us reading this book tonight. Like,
that's so
your
sweet.
Luke is with my Luke." And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I love that."
My nephew's name is actually Luke as well.
Oh, I love
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's such a special name.
Um,
Do you remember what the meaning is? I do know what it was,
I
but now I'm
don't know. I can't even remember why we chose the name.
Mhm,
We My husband's Catholic, so it was something to do with that. Like
mhm.
his brother's Matthew, he's John, and I think
It's
his Mark would
traditional,
be
like
yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And then we said Luke, and we were like, "Oh wait, we actually like that name."
It's beautiful. Yeah, I love it.
Thank you. And he looked like a Luke too. Like we
Yeah.
contemplated some other ones, and we were like, "No, that's who he is. Like that's just he's Luke."
I'd be curious if you feel comfortable sharing with us. What does, your what is in store for your family now? What are some of the next steps? Is that something that you and your partner have been thinking about or talking about? Is this something that you're pursuing? I know some people, after loss have this like innate need to, grow their family right away and want to start trying right away. Where do you guys kind of fall in that spectrum?
We are kind of right there with everybody else.
Hmm.
It's almost like not that I think this will happen, but I feel like I'll feel better when I'm pregnant again.
Hmm.
And I don't know why. Um, because we struggled for 2 years as well. Like I feel like that's a big fear of mine again. Um, so we are currently in the trying to conceive after loss era, I guess you
Hmm.
can call it. But what that looks like for us is it's a lot of so my OB was so great to offer to see us after our loss twice actually.
Hmm.
She went through all of our results with us, and um, she kind of told us like why it happened, and it was due to like infection and placental
Hmm.
issues. So we knew it was a problem with the placenta, not my cervix, not the baby, like not Luke. It was clearly placental. So for me, I started working with my naturopath again and just getting on some good supplements, eating healthy, taking care of ourselves. Just making sure that we're in a right space for our next pregnancy,
Mm-hmm.
making sure we're doing all the right things. I had a conversation with my husband about it, and I was like, okay, so we got the clearance to kind of do what we need to do now. How are you feeling? I wanted to make sure that we were both on the same page. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't do it if one of us wasn't ready. We both had to be ready. And I asked him if he was ready because he saw a lot. He's went through it alongside me, not physically, but
Yeah.
he was there, and
Well,
that
and
can be
he saw his beloved go through this as well, right?
right. And
Mm-hmm.
even the other day, I get like really bad pains around ovulation time, and I was like hunched over again, and I was like, "Oh, I'm in so much pain." It goes away in a few minutes, and the look on his face, it's like he was like
Mm-hmm.
scared again, like it scared him because of what had happened before. Um, so I was like, if you're not ready to start trying again, like we can wait. Like we're young, we have time.
Mm-hmm.
And he was like, nope, I think the excitement of becoming a parent again outweighs the fear.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, let's give it a go. Let's try. And so we're currently in that phase right now. It's scary. It's
Mm-hmm.
very scary.
I was just going to
Um,
ask, have you found anything that has been helpful for you in this like phase?
well, finding you for one, I
Mm-hmm.
feel like after our loss, I was so desperate to find other people who had gone through the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I thrived on those random videos on Instagram and like people talking about their loss and posting about it and sharing about it. Like I couldn't get enough of it. I was like, okay, good, same. Oh, another person. Okay, good. They're feeling the same way I'm feeling. And I've
Mm-hmm.
connected with some incredible people online, such as yourself. I saw your page and I was like, oh my gosh, she's Canadian. This is great. She's kind of almost local. Like it
Yeah, not
just gave
far.
me, yeah, not far. And
Mm-hmm.
I just felt a sense of ease. And when you're openly talking about it, and like it just brought me a sense of calm, I guess I could
Mm-hmm.
say. It really helped me. Some people might not want to see that kind of stuff online, and that's okay. But for me, I was like desperate to connect with people who have gone through the same thing we had.
Yeah, I felt really similar after our loss too. And I remember just feeling like, I think after loss, you realize how different your experience is from the rest of the world, and you feel a little bit like an alien. I remember
Yes.
feeling like I'm truly never going to be understood ever again. People are never going to understand this. And connecting with, other lost moms and finding some like validation in their stories, I was like, okay,
Mhm.
my world might be a lot smaller, but at least I'm not alone, right?
Yeah. Yeah. The amount of people online too, or even like in conversation, talking with people like, oh yeah, my sister had a late term loss, or however people are trying to connect I had a miscarriage, and like anyone who's been through a loss, we were just like, okay, yeah, like
Let's
we're
talk about
not
it.
alone. Yeah, talk
Yeah.
about it. Like, don't be afraid to. Like, I almost feel like when I am around my friends who have living children, it's like we were at a bachelorette a couple weeks ago and everyone's talking about their birth. And I was like, oh, yeah, with mine, like, I was like 2 pushes and he was out. However, he was 1 pound, 1 ounce. And like, da, 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 and they're all talking about the weights of their babies. And then when I said mine, I kind of went like quiet.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, no, it's okay. Like, I'm okay to talk about it. Like it's fine. I almost have to give everyone else permission to be okay to talk about it,
Mm-hmm.
about my birth in a way.
Mm-hmm.
It's such a hard place to be in because you can relate, but not completely.
Yeah, and I think like the more we do talk about it and more we do give people that permission, the less, I think people have a hard time knowing how to knowing how to show up or respond to those things. But the more opportunities we give them to do it,
Mm-hmm.
the better people generally become, right?
Yeah.
Because they learn through it. And when we do give them that permission, like, hey, I am a mom. I
Mm-hmm.
did give birth. I want to talk about it because that
Mm-hmm.
happened. That happened to me, and that's my
Yeah.
son. Um, it kind of takes away that stigma and that
Yeah.
awkwardness, right? And it gives
Yeah.
you more space to be able to to talk about it, right?
Yeah. Any chance I get to talk about Luke or even like our pregnancy and anything, like I'll take the opportunity. I will jump right in. Like I have no issues sharing. Like I went to lunch with a girlfriend yesterday and she was like, "Are you okay to talk about it?" I'm like, "Absolutely. If I can talk about my son, I will." Like I will scream it from the rooftops if I have to, because I feel lucky that I have him to talk about.
He's your baby.
He's my baby. Yeah.
What was your favorite part of, your pregnancy with him?
I think my favorite part was just being pregnant. And because after 2 years of nothing, we finally were pregnant, and it it felt like we won the lottery. And finding out at Christmas, like it was just such an amazing feeling. I was very anxious through that pregnancy. I don't know why. I had no reason to be. Maybe subconsciously I knew something was going on, but our favorite part was telling our families, for sure. That was so much fun. Christmas Eve, we told my brother and his wife and my sister, who's 14, and my dad. We got to share that with them in a cool little fun way. And we told my mom and my in-laws, and everyone was just like totally over the moon for us. That was so fun. And then when I started feeling him kick, I was like, okay, this is real. There's a baby in me. We're okay. We made it past the halfway point. And then he decided to come. We often say, so my brother and his wife are also expecting. Our due dates were 3 days apart.
Wow.
So I was due on September 1st and they are due September 4th. They're having a girl. So I often kind of, because dark humor kind of gets us sometimes. And I was like, well, Luke didn't want to share a birthday. So he decided to come a little
Do his own
early.
thing. Yeah. Now, do you have any plans for how you're going to, are you going to do anything on his due date?
We are actually going to Niagara on the Lake for the weekend.
Beautiful.
Yeah, just a staycation sort of. We were going to go on a trip, but we're actually moving in the new year, so we were like, let's just wait. We don't know where we'll be by then, so we're just kind of going local, check
I
out
love
some
that.
wineries, ride some bikes, go to the shopping mall or the outlet center there, and my mom's going to come as well and spend the time with us. So
Oh, that's so
that's what we're
nice.
doing for our due date, and hopefully my little niece will already be here.
Yeah, I guess time will tell, right?
Yeah, you never know. But yeah, that's what we're gonna do for the due date. And we've already talked about, like, on April 29th, when it's his 1 year birthday, we want to do something special, like have a little cake or a get together, or like we still want to honor him in that way. So it's a little bit away, but it's something we've already kind of talked about and things we want to do
I
going
love
forward.
that.
Yeah.
Well, we'll definitely all be thinking about you and about Luke on September 1st, because that's
Thank
pretty
you.
soon.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we'll
It's been a
definitely be.
heavy month.
I'm sure it has. I find that, anticipation, the anxiety leading up to it, can be a lot. It can be like really, really exhausting. It could be really, exhausting is the perfect word. And then when the day comes, sometimes we find just like, because it's a mixture, right? It's always a mixture. It's like, I'm thinking about my baby. I can't feel entirely griefy because I have so much love there. So you get a little bit of both. And I find that when you actually get to the day, a lot of the time that it does feel a little bit special as well. So we'll definitely be thinking about you September
Thank you.
1st.
Yeah, thank you.
Well, Shelby, I speak on behalf of all of us who are listening. Just want to thank you so much for sharing it, such a huge part of your heart, and sharing your story and sharing your sweet baby Luke with us. I know that there are going to be women who listen to this who were in the same boat as you were and that are just desperate to connect and hear themselves in someone's story and to, feel less alone. And by you sharing today, you're making that happen. So thank you so much for sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you for providing a space. because it truly is incredible. And I'm so thankful for you and everyone who's in this community. It's been a blessing for me. So thank you.
Thank you so much for tuning in today. If this episode touched your heart, it would mean the world to me if you took a moment to rate and review the Rainbow Connection. Your words help this podcast reach other mothers who need to hear these stories, the ones still searching for hope, for comfort, and for connection after loss. Every review, every star, every kind word truly makes a difference. Thank you for helping me keep these stories alive. I'll see you in the next episode.